Hey there! Today we're going to talk about how to tune a violin. Well, we're going to talk about two different scenarios. Scenario one, you have 4 fine tuners on the tailpiece. Okay? Scenario 2, you have one on the E string, but the G, D, and the A, no fine tuners. Let me explain one thing real quickly. If you're going to use one fine tuner and have no fine tuners on the tailpiece, you'll need to use synthetic core strings. Perlon, gut, synthetic versions of gut is what you mostly use today. If you're going to have the 4 fine tuners, typically it's because you're going to use a metal core string, which means with a peg, the metal core strings are going to tune much quicker. Life will be miserable without fine tuners. With the synthetic core strings, the core will stretch as you turn the peg. You'll get a lot slower movement to the pitch. You can get to the center of the pitch without the aggravation that you would if you tried to use metal strings with no fine tuners. Several of the violins I tune every day at the shop, I go through quickly and tune with the fine tuners. So I strike an A note, tune that, tune the E to the A, tune the D to the A, and then tune the G to the D. What I would recommend, if you're new at this, you're trying to tune the violin, it's frustrating for the child that can't practice because this violin's out of tune, it's all new, get a pitch pipe, or better yet, an electronic tuner. The pitch pipe, all 4 notes are here. So you can get real close. So, if you don't have a tuning fork and can't hear the fifths, you get the pitch pipe, just take 1 string at a time, try and get close. So let's move to the violin that has no fine tuners on the tailpiece. We're going to have to use just pegs on this one. You notice we didn't even need the pegs on the other one. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. If you do, you get it close and you use the fine tuners. Here, you get it real close with the peg. You have no choice. The E string's got a fine tuner, but for the most part, you can get it close just plucking on it. The pegs need to fit well to keep in tune so that when you're fine tuning with the peg, you're not really catching up and having a hard time getting to the pitch. So let's see if these qualify. Yeah. So a friction peg will move in a way that you start below the pitch, loosen the peg, and as you go up in pitch, you're pushing in as well. And I'm holding the scroll here so I get something to push against. And I'm pushing in and going up. I went past the pitch, so I go down again. And I get to the pitch, and it should stay. Now, most fine tuning is done by players with their bow when you have this method. And people use their fingers over here, and they're tuning. And they're tuning up with their bow until they're close, and they go to the low one. Fine. Really difficult to do on the metal strings without the fine tuners. So if you're tuning with synthetic core strings, 1 tuner's fine. The pegs, if they work well, you're in good shape. If you're not, if you're using any of the strings that have the metal core, you'll absolutely need to use the fine tuners. Also, when you're tuning with the fine tuners, you really do that fine tuning with the bow as well. You do it this way. And you move to the pitch that way.